Hello again, everyone. I just want to confirm that our panel participants are here. I can see Arnold, and Justine just gave the presentation. Hello, Arnold. And then Julian Dorner, I can see here, but I can't see the camera image. Are you with us, Julian?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, okay, great.
Okay.
So I will stop sharing the screen so that, how do I do this? Is it, or maybe I'm not sharing anything? Not sharing. No, okay, great. You just see everything black. So let me open the, is it here? Yeah, so we can see also the participants, everyone on the screen. So welcome everyone to this panel session. We have three panel participants who are Arnold Willem from Sentient-Vision. We have also Justine, who just gave the presentation now from Whaleseeker, and Julian Dorner from Searchwing. Welcome.
Actually, sorry, I'm interrupting. It's me,
okay,
Antoine,
so
who's going to be doing
you.
the panel.
Okay, Antoine.
But same company. Keep going.
Okay, great. Sorry. Perfect. Antoine, then. That's how I pronounce your name.
Antoine, but
Antoine.
whatever.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so I'm Fabio Andrade. I am associate professor at University of Southeastern Norway and research scientist at Norwegian Research Institute, and I will mediate this panel discussion. So first of all, I would like the participants to just briefly introduce yourselves with the education, work experience, and role or current activities in the company that you were here representing. Please, we can start with Antoine then.
Sure. Yeah, so I already had Justin give a little bit of a talk right before us, so I'm not going to go in details of what Whaleseeker does. But I'm Antoine, the CTO of Whaleseeker. We're based in Montreal, and really our goal is to bridge the gap between sustainability, technology, and economic development by allowing people to keep doing what they're doing, but in a slightly smarter way. My background is actually biomedical engineering, and I stumbled on computer programming by accident and just ended up rolling with it. Yeah, that's basically it. I met my co-founder Emily Charitzi at the dog park, and we just hit it off, and yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. So please, Arnold, could you briefly introduce yourself?
Yep, my name is Arnold Willem, and I am the principal engineer in deep learning from Sentient-Vision System. Just to give a bit of context, what Sentient-Vision System is, we developed a technology called FLiDAR, or visual radar. Basically, FLiDAR is a set of optical sensors that can be mounted on aerial platforms such as manned aeroplane or drones, and equipped with our software to detect marine objects, which could have pixel level resolutions in size. So prior having this position, I actually did a lot of research at the university in computer vision, and then moved to the deep learning after the 2017. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, thank you, Arnold. Please, Julian.
Yeah, I'm Julian, and I'm here for the group Searchwing. So technically, we're not a company; we're more like an NGO. And for me, this is just a free time thing I do. But nevertheless, I'm working in the group as the main developer for the computer vision part of the drone. And yeah, we build a drone to find people in distress on the open sea, and we specifically want to give this drone to the civil rescue organizations, and therefore we also have the requirement to make it kind of cheap, that they can afford it. But we're not only doing this for the NGOs, we also open for other companies or small groups who want to use the drone for the use case. Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So the first topic I would like to give you guys to give your opinions on it and share your experiences is about the main difficulties when working with maritime computer vision. I can shortly tell one story that I was some months ago in the exercise with the coast guards of Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. It was an exercise of oil spill and an accident and some search and rescue as well. And in this, I was on board a vessel, and it had many sensors. One of them was a RGB camera on the top, a 360 camera that we could control from inside the vessel. And it was interesting that one of the directions, so basically I would say 40 degrees of the 360, we couldn't see anything because of the sun reflection on the water. And I think that many here already flew a drone in the sea, and the reflection of the, oops, we have something, okay, or just with the screen, but the participants are here. Internet is good. It's just the projector that just turned off, but that's fine. We can all hear you. So just continuing, this is one big issue, right, in maritime computer vision. And one way that I, for example, in my research, I deal with this is to use thermal cameras. So we don't have this issue, for example, and then we can use the thermal camera to segment the image and then use the RGB images. So this is just one of the challenges that I'm bringing up. So could you please, I can ask Julian to start with some examples of problems. It can be also operational problems on flying the platforms. So if you could start sharing your experience with that, please.
So yes, for us was the biggest challenge in the recent years to get this drone waterproof. Actually, it took us like 3 years almost to get this done. And as most of us don't have, and no one basically got a background in mechanical engineering, it was a quite tough challenge for us to get this finally done. And yeah, it's just that the harsh environment you're in on an open sea, which you at the beginning don't expect to be that harsh. And this costs basically a lot of time. And as you said, the reflections are also a thing which one needs to consider. We thought of this like flying in particular angle relative to the sun to avoid having reflections in the cameras. This helps also a lot to reduce reflections. And yeah, it's just the harsh environment also for the people operating the drone. It's if you get seasick, you cannot do anything anymore if you're on a boat, and that's also what I'm pretty much affected of. So for me, it's quite impossible to go to the sea. Other people need to go.
Yeah, I know the drone you work with is waterproof, right? But before that, have you ever seen or lost a drone in the water? Because I lost already. So I can say, like, when I was landing in a boat, there was a crazy wind, and then I crashed on the how you call it, this border of the boat, and then the drone fell in the water. It wasn't waterproof. So then at least we had divers. So we had a diver to go and get the drone. So I could only recover the SD card footage, and the drone, of course, was destroyed. Battery started to smoke. So have you ever lost a drone in this situation, Julian, or not?
Yes. So we in the time of the last years, we lost quite some drones. The problem for us was that sometimes we don't know why we lost it. Like it's getting lost like 20 kilometers away from our boat, and we don't know why it crashed. Maybe a mechanical problem, maybe a software problem. and if it crashes, you will not be able to find it anymore. So there must be some floating styrofoam with our name on it somewhere on the ocean, and maybe at some point one will find it. But yeah, for us it's quite a problem, because often we cannot afterwards find a reason for the crash.
Yeah. Okay. So now, please, Arnold, if you could, I don't know, like, of course, you work with sensors, right? So what are the main challenges in this field?
Yeah. So in search and rescue, I think the challenges have been mentioned and discussed throughout the workshop. But there are two problems I'd like to highlight. First one is the data. Doing object detection in challenging conditions, I think that will be one of the prime problems we're looking at the moment. Is because search and rescue, they don't always operate in normal sea conditions. Sometimes they have to go with the rougher sea conditions, or maybe a bit stormy season. As long as it's safe to fly, they would do it. But collecting data in this environment could be almost impossible due to data sensitivity, because of the nature of rescue mission. But also it can be a risky exercise if we were to simulate this with human actors. So I think simulated data would be an option to look at. And I think this is still not an open problem. For simulated data, there are two parts we really need to consider. The first one is how we simulate the objects we want to detect. I think there are a couple of works presented today. And the other part is how we simulate the negative class, which is the background or the environment itself. That is a bigger problem to tackle, although it may give a bigger impact. So that's the first problem, is the data. Second problem is efficient, deployable, and accurate models. In SARS, it would be more favorable if we can do everything on board, because most of the time we don't have much bandwidth. And as has been discussed also today, Transformer seems to be the winning model, but it's very slow to run and potentially cannot be deployed onto edge devices. But of course, the other counterpart, which is the YOLO version 7 model, seems to be quite popular. It's because it's faster to train and then has much lower memory footprint. So I can see in the future we could potentially combine this. We can have a model that has the performance similar to Transformer, but running time, as fast as the YOLO version 7.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. Passing the ball to Antoine. And also, I was just thinking after the presentation about the noise, because if you deal with mammals, if that is a problem as well, like the noise produced by the drones, and what kind of platform you use regarding the environment. For example, we have fixed wing drones that are gasoline powered. So do you also think about that when doing your work there?
So at Whaleseeker, we carefully crafted the business model that we offer in order to avoid that issue, because what we do is we process images, we don't collect the data. And actually, Sentient is a company we talked with during our inception, our first 2 years, because we were evaluating, should we purchase our own hardware? But honestly, currently, the business offering is our clients already have their own ways of collecting data that they're married to. They have either planes, drones, whatever floats their boats, and we don't deal with that. So it's their problem, but it's a consideration that they have. So, if I'm being, if I'm being honest, it is something that people are concerned about. Just it's not our problem. As far as challenges go, one of the biggest things, Justine talked about it during her presentation, was annotation quality. There's a lot of inter-observer variability present in the data because the images aren't really clear. And we saw from her examples that sometimes stuff is just really hard to tell apart from each other. There's a million things that can look like a whale, especially if you're looking at places with ice or icebergs, stuff where there's the water is rocky, or literally if there's rocks, you have a million things that will make one annotator say something and another annotator say something else, and that really affects training quality. Your models just get hurt from that. And it's as important to know what is a whale than it is to know what is not a whale. And so Arnold mentioned the negative class earlier. It's really important to have good annotations and a variety of data on that front too. And I guess since a lot of things have been covered already, I'm going to bring up a business issue, difficulty or challenge that we face. It's that we're competing with the solution that's extremely cheap, that is very simple. It's pen and paper. And currently, most people operating on boards of vessels, they're married to, so again, it's for our case, for whale detection, whale monitoring, but it applies on many scenarios where you want to apply AI. Currently, they're doing it by hand. They're doing it in a very cheap, currently working way. And they're not interested necessarily in investing in something new. And it has been a challenge to push forward to get people to try new things and innovate.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you. I'm passing now to another point that is regarding the. I will bring 2 points in one. One is like the role of industry in this field, and another one is like how to attract more people to the field, and all the challenges also with getting investments or clients. For example, I can just say that I work a lot with search and rescue. We have people here from that field as well, and it is not a very profitable area, and it doesn't attract a lot of investments either. So, for example, in our department in the university, we are always told that if we just change to military with the exact same solutions, then we would attract more the spotlight. But yeah, I have a background of like 10 years in the military, and now I try to avoid doing research for military purposes. It's like just a personal decision. So I would like to know from you, and especially Julian and Arnold. I know that Sentient probably has open a market for any kind of client, and Julian probably faces exactly what I said, that the problem of investments, and you are an NGO, right? So that says a lot already about it. So I will start with Julian then, and then passing the ball to Arnold.
Yeah, I think I already explained in our talk that one of our design boundaries are the price of the drone. So we have to keep everything as cheap as possible, but also reliable as possible. It's like impossible target because they both targets are contrary to each other. But yeah, we still try to make it possible, and we think it is possible, and because the RC hobbyist hardware we are using is getting cheaper and cheaper, but still keeping reliable. And I also have to say that most of our things are based on open source software and also hardware. So we base our work just on top of others' work. Without this huge amount of open software and hardware, it would have been impossible for us to come as far as we are already now. And yeah, for us, it was also dedicated decision to not serve military customers, let's say, because we only want to focus on getting these things into the hand of the NGOs. And we think that in the military or law enforcement domain, there's most of the technology already available, but not at a price which is available for NGOs. That's why we focus on this. And I personally think that there are a lot of software things where you can make something quite reliable enough that it also can serve as for search and rescue missions. And yeah, that's what we try to do.
Yeah, when you're talking, I just remembered that I'm in an EU project called Valkyria. It's about first responding to post-disaster situations. And then, for example, our role, we have in our university, the work package about using autonomous systems to leverage this first response. And then it's interesting because if you imagine like after an earthquake or if you are in the middle of the sea and then you don't have like 4G connection, for example, how you make the communication between, for example, the drone and the drones or the drone and the vessels. And then we have already available technology for that, for example, satellite communication, but that's too expensive to use. It's crazy that it can be used as a satellite for military, but it cannot be used for search and rescue in a post-disaster situation. And then we have to, in the project, look into other solutions, like create networks, temporary networks for this first response mission. But it's exactly what I said, like the technology is here, but sometimes it's not available because of commercial reasons or something like this. So Arnold, could you talk to us about like Sentient and how is the market and the differences between like where you see that there is more money for this kind of application, maritime computer vision, than others?
Yeah, I can say in Sentient, as you said, we open enough for any organizations, but many customer inquiries come from the search and rescue. Well, at least for the project that I'm working on at the moment, because we developed this technology called FIDAR, and I think how to attract funding or how to attract people into this domain. It's more on the we need more good story. For instance, there are several cases where FIDAR was being used by like search and rescue operation and successfully found like boats or like upside down boats. So it's a feel good story for everyone, including the organization as well, because in search and rescue you can either do the traditional way with binocular looking downwards to the ocean on the aeroplane, which is quite challenging to do, or you could utilize this technology which allow you to provide detections very quickly, and you can look at to the object of interest and decide whether this is actually something to action or not. So yeah, that's what I can see from Sentient perspective.
Yeah, so I'll just not change, but add something else for Antoine to give also his opinion about this. When I asked about how to attract more people to this field, I will also take the chance to ask about the interdisciplinary nature of this field, because you are in, I would say, biology field. I also work with oceanography when using drones for coastal bathymetry or coastal erosion monitoring. So what do you think about like how to attract more people also from other fields to be interested, or to not see computer vision as something super complicated, or just give up just after listening to the name, you know?
Yeah, so there's actually so many places where I want to drop an answer. So let me roll back into the questions a little bit, because I did want to say something about investments and the fact that, you know, Sentient and us are companies which are for profit, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know about us, we are a for
sorry,
profit, but that
Antoine,
operates with
we lost you
sustainability.
for.
Sorry.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
back.
it was actually your connection, because everyone else was okay. So if you could restart.
I
It started
apologize.
just when you started to actually answer the questions after you introduced. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, talking about investments opportunities, Sentient and us are for-profit companies. And I don't know about Sentient, but for us, because we have sustainability, you know, built in our DNA. It's about whale preservation and helping scale whale monitoring. Just that, without even hearing about the business model, people are kind of like, oh yeah, they're not gonna be profitable because they are gonna compromise on their margin, right? It's because we don't, for example, we don't want to do business with people that are going to do whaling or anything like that. And already just from the fact that we have that in mind, it's been a frustrating year in terms of raising funds, because yeah, people weren't interested because of that. You know, notwithstanding the fact that economy's in a tumble, but that's another issue. In terms of attracting people, I think, yeah, well, you know, let's do all together. In terms of attracting people, I think we have an opportunity to try to do good. There's COP15 that just ended in Montreal, where a lot of sustainability related decisions have been made. Water is very present on Earth. It's an extremely important resource. Obviously, not every business model applies, but in a lot of cases, there is room for innovations, improvements in terms of using AI to scale, to be more efficient, to reduce gas emissions. And driving these initiatives brings people towards your company, brings people together in order to deliver these innovations. People want to do good. I mean, the people we talk to anyway, the people we've been talking with, both candidates and companies that we've surrounded ourselves with, candidates for hiring, everybody wants to do good things. And so the newer generations, the people that you want to attract, if you tell them about the fact that you're being conscientious of the environment, that you try to be sustainable, that you're innovating to deliver better products, more sustainable and environmentally friendly products, they care about that. And then moving on to the interdisciplinary part of things, AI, in and of itself, it's just a tool. It doesn't do anything by itself. It's like math. And so it's not about bringing more AI people on board. It's getting people that want to use AI for something. And that's hard because, as I said earlier, you're competing with a solution that already works. These people already have figured out something that works. And then once in a while, there's an AI solution that comes and manages to, you know, eat up on the margins of a already established solution provider. But in most cases, people are somewhat, well, in many cases, people are somewhat risk averse in terms of completely changing the way they do things, whatever they're doing. And so you really need to come with a good plan and show success stories, and yeah, be good at marketing. I don't know about that, but really sell your story and say, oh, we have this tool, it's going to revolutionize whatever you're doing, and improve all your processes, reduce costs and everything. And yeah, get people interested in applying AI to whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
maybe-
I think it's, yeah, sorry, Julian, you want to?
Yeah, can I add something on top of
Yeah.
this? Because you said you want to attract people on applying AI, and that's one point I forgot actually to mention, that I think it's very important to attract people, especially to the maritime domain, by getting more open data out in this topic, in this field, because as everyone is saying, there's a lack of data because of the challenges we already discussed. And I think we also, as a Searchwing, should also put more data and also awareness for the things which are happening in the open sea to the community, and to give them the motive, or to show them what is happening, and give them the data to apply for doing good things, like Antoine was mentioning, and then maybe we can attract also more people into this field.
Just to follow up what Julian mentioned, I think another thing to highlight is to attract people, we need to have this community more exposed, this domain more exposed to the wider computer vision community. And this platform, this workshop, I think is a perfect way to have that. So if this keep rolling regularly, I think the domain will get more exposure, and more people will come into this domain naturally.
Yeah, definitely. This initiative is very important. It's very interesting also what Antoine said, that we should always say, like, or mention the importance of the resource that is water, and everything that is in water, like the animal life, and the economy for the transport of goods, and everything else, and of course all the importance of not being polluted, and all this. I think this is the main. I'm sure that everyone knows the importance of it, but sometimes, I don't know,
Well,
yeah.
If I can add my own personal experience with that, people care about the environment up until you tell them that it's going to cost something to help to do something about it, and then they close the door. And so AI is a really great tool, because in most cases, AI is expensive to develop. I'll give you that, and it's expensive to run to a degree, because you need, some level of high-end GPUs and everything. But once it's developed, for all intents and purposes, it's free compared to having a human do this. The example that Justin mentioned, we shrunk 2,000 hours of work to 50-something hours, right? And so that bridges the gap between the customer, the industry's love for money, and humanity's need for a survivable Earth, right? And so, AI has that potential, but there's a high bar, because it's expensive to get started, to develop, to get something going. And Julian mentioned data sets, like, definitely that's a big issue. There's so many things, it's so messy, the data is so messy, and there's so many different things that exists. You don't have data sets readily available. Just like if you wanted to start a car detection company, you would have 1 million data sets. But on anything maritime related, super hard. It's a very challenging environment to get data for.
Yeah, exactly. That is a big challenge to generate data sets as well, and it's very good that we got access to this Sea Drone Seas data set. It's very good, and we in my university, we are working on this virtual environments that we can generate data sets as well. because we know how challenging it is to run a mission to actually capture data with a drone in the sea environment. And then imagine in harsh weather, then it's even more complicated, because then it's also you have safety issues as well. So that's why we are working with these virtual worlds, that we can just create a storm and then fly a drone safely in this storm and collect data. Yeah, so very, very good, very interesting. I think we are now out of time. I can ask if someone has any question. No one wrote anything in the chat here. Do we have any question to the audience for our final remarks and the workshop? Okay, not here at least, and in the chat no one said anything. So I would just thank the participants of this panel. It was very, very interesting, very good. I think it was a perfect closing for our workshop, right? We highlighted all the main challenges and the importance of having this concise group and to promote more this field. So thank you very much, Antoine from Whaleseeker, Arnold from Sentient, and Julian from Searchwing, right? Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Very much. Then I pass the ball to Benjamin again. Thank you.
Okay, won't take long. I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated, to everyone that helped make this workshop possible. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull up the slides now again because it takes too long, but I will upload the slides also to the workshop web pages. Unfortunately, the recording of this workshop, we only started later. We were told that it is enabled by default, and because we had internet connections, we had other things to think about, but at least we got some part of the workshop recorded, which we'll upload as well. So thanks again to all the keynote speakers and to the organizers, to the program committee, to the technical committee, to Sentient-Vision for sponsoring the prizes. And yeah, I guess it was a long workshop, so I won't make it too long. If you have any feedback for the workshop, for the challenges, for anything, we are happy to know that. Send us mails or however you want to send us stuff. And yes, it was a hybrid workshop, definitely an interesting experience. Maybe we'll make it for the next iteration to have it fully in person. That would be awesome. But otherwise, it was good to see you all, and it was definitely cool to see so many people, even though we had so many different time zones involved today. So thank you again, and I'll leave the Zoom room open just in case anyone wants to talk to anyone else also in the Zoom room. But other than that, maybe we'll see each other at the next iteration of MaCVi. And yeah, thanks again, and bye world.
Thank you. Have a great Hawaii fun.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, yeah, let's see it.
Well done, Benjamin.
Arnold, sorry, what was it?
I was saying well done. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Arnold, for everything. And yeah, we'll keep in touch, I guess. And I'll also send you the images.
Yep, a couple of photos would be good. Yes, that would be great. We probably put something on the story. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sounds very good.
In touch then.
Yeah,
Bye then.
very good. Thank you. Have a nice remaining day.
Yeah, have a nice day at Hawaii. Mahalo.
Mahalo, yeah, aloha. Thank you. Bye-bye.